Welcome to our channel with new interesting episode. A general was fired for a highly embarrassing event in our nation's history. The seas have always been arenas for global power struggles, where the most powerful navies show off their might. But recent events have taken these encounters to an unexpected level. The US Navy recently surrounded a Russian warship off the coast of Florida, causing a series of surprising events. What led to this daring move, and what were the immediate effects? Let's explore the extraordinary happenings on the high seas. Recently, the Pentagon made a bold decision to send 3 Navy destroyers and several maritime patrol aircraft to monitor a group of Russian ships that ventured just 30 miles from the Florida coast during their missile exercises. A defense official stated that the ships were under constant surveillance as they moved through the Atlantic, staying within international waters. Interestingly, Russia did not hide its activities. The state-run media openly reported that 4 ships, including a frigate and a nuclear-powered submarine, were set to visit Havana between June 12 and June 17. The Russian Ministry of Defense even posted about the exercises online, boasting about the use of high-precision missile weapons and sharing videos from the ships. These exercises were not just for show. The crews of the frigate and submarine were practicing with high-precision missile weapons through computer simulations. These simulations were challenging, targeting naval groups of a fictional enemy more than 600 kilometers away. Importantly, no actual missiles were launched during these drills. In a twist worthy of a spy thriller, the Pentagon kept quiet about the specific US assets deployed in response. This left amateur analysts to use public flight and ship tracking data to identify the key players: the USS Truxtun, USS Donald Cook, and USS Delbert D. Black. These ships sailed stealthily into the scene. Meanwhile, the US Navy P-8 Poseidon aircraft kept a watchful eye from above, playing a strategic game of cat and mouse against unseen enemies below the ocean's surface. A defense official mentioned routine operations across the Atlantic involving the Navy's US 2nd Fleet, US 4th Fleet, US Coast Guard Atlantic Area, and even the Canadian Joint Task Force Atlantic, making it a star-studded affair on the high seas. A recent snapshot captured the USS Truxtun in a surprising maneuver with the Canadian frigate HMCS Ville de Quebec and the US Coast Guard cutter Stone. It was like a maritime ballet, with each vessel playing its part in a grand show of power and precision. Online chatter suggested a connection between these maneuvers and a certain Russian presence, turning the whole affair into a gripping game of nautical chess. The US Navy destroyers moved like chess pieces, their sleek forms a testament to both strength and strategy. Above, the P-8 Poseidon aircraft kept a vigilant eye, scanning the vast ocean for any unexpected moves. The Russian ships moved with purpose, their crews engaged in a dance of technology and tactics, adding to the tension of this maritime drama. It was like a scene straight out of a blockbuster movie, where every move mattered and the stakes couldn't be higher. The tension between the US and Russian naval forces was almost palpable, a silent standoff on the open waters. Amid this high-stakes game, the Canadian and US Coast Guard ships stood as symbols of Allied strength. Their synchronized movements with the US destroyers painted a picture of unity and readiness. Recently, online analysts meticulously tracked the Russian fleet's movements, noting their proximity to US shores, just 25 miles off the coast according to some reports, specifically mentioning South Florida. Social media platforms like Telegram buzzed with images shared by Russian state-run outlets, showcasing the Russian ships, including a formidable frigate and a stealthy submarine docking in Havana. Pentagon spokesperson Sabrina Singh aimed to calm nerves, downplaying the significance of the port visit as routine, albeit with a twist. These weren't just any Russian vessels, they were equipped with some of Russia's latest and most advanced military technology. For instance, the Admiral Gorshkov frigate, introduced in 2018, and the Kazan submarine, launched in 2021, boast cutting-edge weaponry, including the hypersonic Zircon anti-ship missile. Experts from the Royal United Services Institute highlighted the Kazan's impressive capabilities, matching or even surpassing Western counterparts in stealth and strike capabilities. The admiration for this class of Russian submarines was so profound that a US Navy official proudly displayed a model of its lead boat outside his office for daily admiration. The increased frequency of Russian naval visits to Cuba did not go unnoticed, especially against the backdrop of heightened tensions due to US support for Ukraine and NATO exercises. As one defense official put it, these activities are likely a sign of things to come, hinting at a potentially more dynamic and confrontational maritime landscape in the future. This recent event marks a significant shift, as the Russian vessels involved are among the most advanced in their fleet. Their proximity to U.S. coastlines highlights the ongoing tensions and strategic maneuvers by both nations. The advanced features of the Admiral Gorshkov frigate and Kazan submarine underscore the changing dynamics of naval strength and the need to closely monitor these developments. While the Pentagon might downplay these visits as routine, the sophistication of these ships tells a different story. The Kazan's stealth capabilities and firepower, paired with the modern prowess of Admiral Gorshkov, emphasize Russia's push to modernize its navy. This move is likely a response to the US's increasing military support to its allies, particularly in hotspot regions like Eastern Europe. As we observe these events unfold, it's clear that both the US and Russia are acutely aware of each other's movements and capabilities. This situation is a prime example of the larger geopolitical chess game that has been ongoing for decades. Remember the Cold War? That intense period of rivalry and tension between the US and the Soviet Union stretched from the end of World War II in 1945 until the Soviet Union dissolved in 1991. During the Cold War, the capitalist West, led by the US, and the communist East, headed by the Soviet Union, were locked in a global struggle that shaped international relations, military strategies, and even technological advancements. The recent maneuvers of Russian ships near the US coast and their docking in Havana bring back memories of those days, emphasizing the lasting impact of that era on today's geopolitics. The Cold War sprang from clashing visions of how the world should rebuild and govern after World War II. The US pushed for democratic governance and free market economies, while the Soviet Union aimed to expand its centralized control and communist ideology. These differing visions set the stage for decades of tension and competition, a legacy that still influences the world's power dynamics today. The clash of ideas at the heart of this era sparked a worldwide competition for influence. This competition took many forms, including spreading ideas through media, providing economic support, forming military partnerships, and sometimes facing off indirectly. The control of oceans was crucial during this time because it allowed countries to show their military strength and keep trade routes safe. Both the US and Soviet navies often played a game of strategy, using submarines, warships, and aircraft carriers to gain advantages. The Russian ships near US territory and their stop in Havana remind us of Cold War strategies. Back then, both superpowers would send fleets to show strength, gather information, and either reassure or intimidate friends and foes. The presence of modern Russian ships like the Admiral Gorshkov frigate and the Kazan submarine near the US indicates a similar strategic approach to what we saw during the Cold War. The Cuban Missile Crisis in October 1962 was a major event during the Cold War. It became intense when the United States found out that the Soviet Union had placed ballistic missiles in Cuba, very close to the US coast. This discovery caused immediate concern in the US, leading to swift and decisive actions. The US set up a naval blockade around Cuba and demanded that the missiles be removed. This was a critical situation, with the world facing the possibility of a nuclear disaster. Tensions were extremely high as both the US and the Soviet Union negotiated intensely while also considering their military positions carefully. Fortunately, the crisis was resolved through diplomatic talks and strategic compromises, preventing a disastrous escalation that could have had severe consequences worldwide. The recent arrival of Russian ships in Havana reminds us of this historic event, underscoring Cuba's ongoing importance in US-Russian relations. While the presence of these ships doesn't pose an immediate threat, according to Pentagon spokeswoman Sabrina Singh, it does serve as a reminder of the strategic moves made during the Cold War and the potential for things to escalate. The Cold War period was characterized by a significant arms race, with both the United States and the Soviet Union heavily investing in developing advanced military technologies. This included nuclear weapons, long-range ballistic missiles, and advanced naval ships. For instance, the Russian submarine Kazan, which was put into service in 2021 and is armed with cutting-edge hypersonic missiles, continues this historical trend. During the Cold War, there was a focus on creating nuclear-powered submarines that could stay underwater for long durations, enabling them to launch nuclear missiles from beneath the sea's surface. The capabilities of submarines like Kazan, as analyzed by the Royal United Services Institute, demonstrate the ongoing progress in submarine technology and its strategic significance. The Cold War rivalry extended beyond traditional warfare to include domains like space exploration, espionage, and cyber operations. The space race, marked by the Soviet Union's launch of Sputnik in 1957 and the US moon landing in 1969, was a notable aspect of this competition. Additionally, advancements in submarine technology and naval strength were crucial for maintaining strategic balance and deterring potential conflicts. Espionage and intelligence gathering were fundamental strategies during the Cold War. Both superpowers operated extensive spy networks and conducted surveillance activities to understand each other's capabilities and intentions. Naval operations also involved intelligence missions, with submarines and reconnaissance aircraft playing vital roles in gathering strategic information. The recent actions of Russian warships near the US coast could be viewed as part of a broader effort to gather intelligence, similar to practices during the Cold War. Back then, Soviet submarines often operated close to US waters to monitor naval activities, collect electronic information, and test American defense readiness. Likewise, the US conducted similar operations, deploying submarines and ships near Soviet waters for reconnaissance purposes. The Cold War era was marked by the formation of military alliances like NATO and the Warsaw Pact, which divided Europe and other regions into opposing blocs. These alliances aimed to ensure collective security and prevent aggression from either side. Alongside direct military confrontations, the period saw numerous proxy wars where the US and the Soviet Union supported opposing factions in regional conflicts. Examples include the Korean War, the Vietnam War, and conflicts in the Middle East, Africa, and Latin America. Cuba, led by Fidel Castro, emerged as a significant Soviet ally in the Western Hemisphere during this time. The Soviet Union provided military and economic assistance to Cuba, solidifying its position as a key player in the Cold War dynamics. The frequent visits of Russian naval ships to Cuba highlight the importance of alliances and regional influence in today's geopolitics. Similar to the Cold War era, current geopolitical strategies focus on forming and maintaining alliances to counter rival powers. Russian spy ships, equipped with advanced electronic surveillance technology, often approach the American fleet closely, aiming to gather information about their activities. Despite this, the American Navy remains composed and employs clever tactics when these spy ships become too intrusive. During such encounters, around 5,000 sailors swiftly deactivate electronic devices and create false signals to confuse the spies. The efficiency and quick decision-making inside American ships during these tense moments are remarkable. Now, let's delve into why these Russian spy ships hold significant importance for Russia. Their primary objective is not combat but rather gathering confidential information and monitoring global maritime activities. They serve as the eyes and ears of the Russian Navy, constantly observing and listening. Equipped with highly sophisticated surveillance tools, these ships can intercept various communications, including radar signals and radio transmissions. This capability allows Russia to stay informed about sea movements, track naval activities, and assess the technological capabilities of other navies. Moreover, these spy ships can actively disrupt enemy electronics, employing deceptive methods to interfere with radar systems and communication networks. This interference complicates the enemy's ability to comprehend the situation accurately. Russian intelligence vessels utilize advanced technology, such as radar and sonar, to discreetly monitor the movements of US Navy ships. These Russian vessels are frequently encountered by the US Navy and are permitted under international law to traverse specific zones near the United States. In January 2023, a Russian intelligence ship was observed approximately 100 miles off the coast of Hawaii. Similarly, in 2019, another Russian intelligence ship was flagged for its unsafe behavior near the southeastern coast of the United States. Understanding these intelligence-gathering vessels is crucial as they sometimes approach U.S. aircraft carriers in open waters, posing potential risks. To delve deeper into aircraft carriers, they function as mobile airfields for the U.S. Navy, serving various roles such as security operations, disaster response, and combat missions. The United States boasts 11 massive nuclear-powered carriers, each capable of accommodating around 80 fighter jets. These carriers are the largest globally, offering more aircraft storage space than all other countries' carriers combined. They are equipped with formidable armaments and significantly contribute to safeguarding vital maritime routes and addressing international challenges. When a Russian spy ship comes too near, the Combat Information Center, also called the CIC, springs into action. Sailors deactivate electronic devices and create false signals to confuse the spy ship sensors. This quick and efficient response showcases the American Navy's preparedness and strategic thinking. The Information Center, IC, on an aircraft carrier functions as the ship's brain, collecting and processing crucial combat data from sources like radar, sonar, visual lookouts, and intelligence reports. This information aids in making decisions to ensure the ship's safety and effectiveness during combat. When a threat, such as a Russian spy ship, is detected, the IC activates alarm systems to alert the crew. The trained crew quickly moves to their assigned positions and follows strict protocols. Clear and efficient communication, facilitated by intercoms, radios, and other devices, is essential for prompt action, ensuring all crew members receive vital information swiftly. To protect against spying, the carrier uses advanced systems like electronic jamming and decoys to confuse and disrupt enemy surveillance and communications. Signal intelligence, SIGINT, helps gather and analyze enemy communications, aiding in understanding their activities and intentions. This intelligence supports effective strategies to counter threats. The carrier's sophisticated surveillance systems, including advanced radar and electronic countermeasures, detect threats from significant distances. Quick detection is crucial to prevent spy ships from gathering sensitive information and posing security risks. Delayed detection can lead to serious consequences, including potential aggressive actions by the enemy. Rules of engagement, ROE, guide the Navy's response to threats, ensuring actions match the threat level and comply with international law. The U.S. Navy's readiness, advanced technology, and dedicated personnel enable swift and effective responses to threats. Their thorough training and commitment to duty are essential for maintaining national security and maritime dominance. In summary, the IC's role, combined with advanced technology and well-trained personnel, ensures that aircraft carriers can detect, evaluate, and respond to threats effectively, maintaining security and operational integrity. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned and curious about us. Have a blessed day.